Stop everything you are doing right now. Pick up your phone, the one sitting next to you, the one in your pocket, the one you use for everything, your messages, your photos, your bank accounts, your private conversations, your location history, your emails, everything. There's one setting on that phone, one single setting that is turned on by default that law enforcement can use to unlock your phone without your password, without your Face ID, without your fingerprint, without a warrant, in some circumstances, not with hacking technology, not with a specialized device, with a setting that your phone manufacturer turned on without telling you, and that you have almost certainly never changed. And here is what makes this so critically important. Your phone contains more personal information about you than any object you have ever owned. Every text message you have ever sent, every place you have ever been, every photo you have ever taken, every search you have ever made, every person you have ever contacted, every private thought you put into words on that device. All of it accessible through one setting you did not know existed. Today, I am going to show you exactly what that setting is, exactly how it works, exactly how law enforcement uses it, the specific legal cases that established when they can and cannot use it, and exactly how to turn it off on both iPhone and Android in under 60 seconds. Stick around for the final section because I am going to give you a complete phone privacy protection checklist that goes beyond this one setting and makes your phone as legally protected as technology currently allows. Before we begin, this video is for educational purposes only. Digital privacy laws, law enforcement access laws, and your constitutional rights regarding your phone vary by state and jurisdiction. Nothing in this video is legal advice. If you believe your digital privacy has been violated, contact a licensed attorney in your area immediately. Okay, let's get into it. The setting I am talking about is called USB restricted mode, or more specifically, the absence of USB restricted mode protection. Let me explain exactly what this means. Every modern smartphone, iPhone, and Android has a USB port or charging port. When you plug your phone into a computer or into a specialized device through that port, your phone can share data with that connected device. This is how you transfer photos, how you back up your phone, how you update software, how you sync your device, but it is also how specialized forensic tools used by law enforcement access the data on your phone. Tools like Cellbrite and GrayKey, which we have discussed in previous videos, connect to your phone through the USB port and extract data from your device. Here is where the hidden setting becomes critical. Apple introduced USB restricted mode in iOS 11.4.1 in 2018. Specifically in response to the growing use of these forensic tools, when USB restricted mode is properly activated, your iPhone stops allowing data transfer through the USB port after the phone has been locked for 1 hour. After 1 hour of being locked, the only thing the USB port does is charge the battery. No data transfer, no forensic tool access, nothing. The phone becomes essentially inaccessible through USB until you unlock it with your passcode. Asterisk, asterisk, here is the problem. Asterisk, asterisk, USB restricted mode on many iPhones is not fully activated by default in the most protective configuration. There is a specific setting that most iPhone users have never touched that determines exactly how protective USB restricted mode is. And on Android, the equivalent protection involves developer options, which most users have never accessed, and USB debugging, which may be enabled on millions of Android phones without the owners knowing. I am going to show you exactly what to check and exactly how to fix it right after I explain how law enforcement uses this vulnerability. Let me walk you through exactly how law enforcement uses is USB access to extract data from phones, because understanding the mechanism is what makes the protection so obviously necessary. Method number 1, Celebrate UF. Celebrate's Universal Forensic Extraction Device. UFED is the most widely deployed phone extraction tool in law enforcement in the United States. It connects to your phone through the USB port and can extract text messages, call logs, photos and videos, location data, app data, including deleted content, passwords stored on the device, email content, social media data, and in some cases encrypted messaging app data. This tool is used by local police departments, federal agencies, and prosecutors across the country. And it is most effective when connected to a phone before USB restricted mode has been properly configured. Asterisk, asterisk, method number 2, gray key, asterisk, asterisk. Gray key is a device specifically designed to defeat iPhone security by exploiting vulnerabilities in iOS to bypass the passcode and gain full access to the device. Its effectiveness varies by iOS version, and Apple continuously patches vulnerabilities that Gray Key exploits. But here's the critical point. These tools are most effective when used quickly before the phone's security features have been given time to activate, which is exactly why the behavior of officers at an arrest, their urgency to secure a phone, their immediate attempt to access it makes sense when you understand the forensic tools available to them. Asterisk, asterisk, method number 3, compelled biometric access. This is a critical legal distinction that affects every phone user. Courts have ruled on the difference between your passcode, something you know, and your biometric data, something you are. The Fifth Amendment protects you from being compelled to provide a passcode because it is testimonial. It requires you to reveal the contents of your mind. But courts in many jurisdictions have ruled that biometric access, Face ID or fingerprint, can be compelled because producing your face or finger is a physical act, not a testimonial one. This means if you are using Face ID or fingerprint as your primary phone security, a court order may be able to compel you to provide biometric access to your phone. Your passcode in most jurisdictions cannot be compelled under the Fifth Amendment. This is why your passcode is legally more protective than your biometric. Let me walk you through the specific legal cases that define your rights regarding phone access. Because knowing these cases is knowing your rights. Riley versus California, 2014. This is the foundational case. The Supreme Court ruled unanimously that police cannot search the digital contents of a cell phone seized during an arrest without a warrant. Chief Justice Roberts wrote in paraphrasing that a phone is not just a technological convenience. It is a window into every aspect of a person's life. This ruling was enormous. It established that your phone receives Fourth Amendment protection. But here's what Riley did not answer. What happens when law enforcement physically compels your biometric access? What happens with data stored in the cloud, not on the device itself? What happens when the phone is extracted before the owner can change their settings? These are the gaps that remain legally unsettled, and that the setting I am about to show you is specifically designed to address. Carpenter versus United States, 2018. The Supreme Court ruled that law enforcement generally needs a warrant to access cell phone location data from carriers, establishing that people have a reasonable expectation of privacy in their digital location history. The biometric access question. Courts at various levels have reached different conclusions, some holding that biometric access can be compelled, others holding that compelling biometric access violates the Fifth Amendment. And the Supreme Court has not yet definitively resolved this. What this means for you practically, if you use a passcode, law enforcement generally cannot compel you to provide it. If you use Face ID or fingerprint, you may be in a more legally vulnerable position depending on your jurisdiction. And if your phone can be accessed through the USB port using forensic tools without any biometric or passcode, that is the vulnerability that the hidden setting is designed to prevent. Deadly mistake number 1, relying exclusively on Face ID or fingerprint recognition as your phone security. As I just explained, biometric access may be compellable in many jurisdictions. A court order requiring you to present your face or your finger to your phone is legally distinct from requiring you to reveal your passcode, and courts have increasingly allowed compelled biometric access. The protection is a strong alphanumeric passcode that cannot be compelled under the Fifth Amendment in most jurisdictions. You can still use Face ID or fingerprint for convenience, but ensure you have a strong passcode set as your backup. And know that in a high-stakes encounter, pressing the power button 5 times on iPhone temporarily disables Face ID, requiring your passcode to unlock, giving you the Fifth Amendment protection of a passcode-only device in that moment. Deadly mistake number 2, having USB debugging enabled on your Android device without knowing it. USB debugging is an Android developer feature that allows a connected computer to communicate directly with the operating system of your phone, bypassing many of the normal security features. It is designed for app developers testing their applications, but forensic tools can exploit this mode when enabled to access significantly more data from an Android device than they otherwise could. Many people enable USB debugging because they saw a tutorial online, because it was required for something they did once, or because it came pre-enabled on a device they purchased and they never turned it off. I am going to show you exactly how to check for this and turn it off immediately. Deadly mistake number 3, leaving your phone unlocked or recently unlocked near law enforcement. USB restricted mode activates after 1 hour of being locked. If your phone is unlocked or was recently unlocked, forensic tools can access data through the USB port immediately. This is why officers securing a scene will often make sure phones are not locked or will attempt to access them before they lock. The protective behavior in any encounter with law enforcement is to immediately lock your phone. Do not hand it to an officer unlocked. Do not let it sit unlocked nearby. Lock it immediately. Let the 1 hour timer on USB restricted mode begin running so that even if they physically have your locked device, forensic tools become significantly less effective after that hour. Deadly mistake number 4, believing that a factory reset completely protects your data. Forensic tools have the capability to recover data from phones even after factory resets, particularly on older devices with certain storage architectures. True data protection requires encryption, which modern iPhones and Android devices enable by default, combined with the security settings I am about to show you. A factory reset without proper prior encryption on some devices may still leave recoverable data. The prevention is encryption plus proper security settings, not a reset after the fact. Deadly mistake number 5, running an outdated operating system. Forensic tools like Gray Key exploit specific vulnerabilities in operating system versions. Apple and Google continuously patch these vulnerabilities in iOS and Android updates, the version of iOS or Android you are running today. If it is not current, may have documented vulnerabilities that forensic tools are specifically designed to exploit. Keeping your operating system fully updated is one of the most effective privacy protections available available because it closes the doors that forensic tool manufacturers have already discovered and mapped. Here is exactly what you need to do right now on your specific device. On iPhone, the setting is called USB accessories, and it needs to be turned off for maximum protection. Here is exactly how. Open Settings, tap Face ID and passcode or touch ID and passcode. Enter your passcode. Scroll down. You will see a section called Allow Access when locked. In that section, find USB accessories. If USB accessories is turned on, your phone allows data transfer through USB even when locked. Turn it off. When USB accessories is off, USB restricted mode is fully activated and your phone stops data transfer through the USB port after 1 hour of being locked. This is the setting. This is what you turn off right now before this video ends. Additionally, on iPhone, go back to Settings, tap Privacy and Security, scroll down to Lockdown Mode. Lockdown Mode, introduced in iOS 16, is the most aggressive privacy setting Apple offers. It disables many features, including USB data transfer entirely, and is designed for high-risk individuals. If you have reason to believe you are at elevated risk, consider enabling lockdown mode. On Android, the setting to check is USB debugging, and it needs to be disabled. Here is exactly how. Open Settings, tap About Phone, look for build number. If you have tapped build number 7 times, you have enabled developer mode. Go back to Settings, tap Developer Options. Find USB debugging. If it is enabled, turn it off immediately. If you see no developer options, USB debugging is already disabled. That is correct. Additionally, on Android, go to Settings, tap Privacy, tap Permission Manager. Review all permissions and revoke anything that does not need to be enabled. Go to Settings, tap Connected Devices or USB Preferences. Ensure USB connection mode is set to charging only, not file transfer or MTP. This ensures that when your Android phone is connected via USB, it only charges and does not allow data access by default. Here is your complete phone privacy protection checklist. Implement every step today. Check 1, iPhone, turn off USB accessories in Face ID and passcode settings. Android, disable USB debugging in developer options. Check 2, set a strong alphanumeric passcode, minimum 12 characters, not just a 6-digit PIN. Check 3, update your operating system to the latest version immediately. Check 4, on iPhone, know the 5-button press to disable Face ID quickly. Practice it until it is automatic. Check 5, enable 2-factor authentication on every account connected to your phone. Check 6, disable Bluetooth and Wi-Fi when not in use. Both can be used to track your device. Check 7, review all app permissions, revoke camera, microphone, and location access from apps that do not need it. Check 8, use Signal for sensitive communications. Check 9, enable Find My Phone so you can remotely wipe your device if it is ever physically seized. Check 10, in any law enforcement encounter, lock your phone immediately. Do not hand it over unlocked. Do not consent to phone searches. Say, I do not consent to searches of my device, and invoke your right to an attorney. Let me give you the complete picture one final time. The one hidden setting that makes your phone vulnerable to law enforcement access. USB accessories on iPhone, turn it off. USB debugging on Android, disable it. The 5 deadly mistakes, biometric security only, USB debugging enabled, leaving your phone unlocked, trusting factory resets, running outdated software, your legal protections. Riley versus California warrant required for phone content. Fifth Amendment passcodes cannot be compelled. Biometric access legally vulnerable in many jurisdictions. Your complete protection. Turn off USB accessories. Set a strong passcode, update your OS, know the 5-button Face ID, disable, enable 2FA, disable unused connections, audit app permissions, use Signal, enable remote wipe, and never consent to phone searches. Your phone is your life. One setting, 60 seconds, complete protection. Turn it off now. If this video helped you, give it a like and follow this channel. I make videos that give you the exact knowledge to protect yourself, your privacy, and your rights. That is all for me this week. See you next time.